Back when it was first revealed that Breath of the Wild would not have a traditional Zelda overworld theme, I was instantly split on this decision. I mean, just listen to this. Just by listening to these songs, I'm sure the majority of you were able to identify the game they were from and even bring to mind your own experiences with that game. It's amazing, isn't it? Music is an integral part of any piece of media in a way unlike anything else. It's a way to capture emotions and hold on to them forever. Even if it's been years since you last heard a particular song, those feelings are still there. The Zelda series itself has a long history with music, with some of the most iconic themes in all of gaming coming from its entries. Music has established itself as part of the series' very identity, which is why it was a little concerning when Breath of the Wild appeared to be dropping that identity. Now, after playing Breath of the Wild, the lack of a triumphant theme as you tread across Hyrule in favor of the more subdued sounds of nature and the occasional few chords of a piano does create its own kind of unique connection to the world and the player in a way that is fitting to the game's tone. But it was a few days ago when I booted up the game to explore the southern coast of Hyrule, turned on my own playlist, and this song came up. This song supplemented walking the coast of Hyrule and captured the emotions I felt as I walked along that beach, unlike any area in Breath of the Wild's overworld. And that's when I knew I wanted Breath of the Wild 2 to change its approach to music. In case you guys were wondering, this song actually comes from a snowy region in Professor Layton in the Azure Legacy, which is just so interesting to me because the first time that I heard it was when I was walking down the beach in Breath of the Wild, and it's a completely different climate, but it still had such an impact on me, and it fit so well to what I was doing. So yeah, I was listening to a playlist of the best Professor Layton songs, and I never played Azure Legacy, but this snowy mountain theme just happened to come up when I was walking down the beach, and it resonated with me so much, and I find that really interesting. It was like a moment of an epiphany that just hit me and said, I miss this in Zelda. I miss the music. Now, Breath of the Wild has music. Its overworld is not devoid of music. It has piano notes, as we talked about earlier, and it has different, more substantial tracks in all of the towns, cutscenes, and important areas throughout the game. But even the best songs in the game, Rito Village, Terrytown, Hyrule Castle, those songs are still not on the level of the old Zelda soundtracks. They're still more subdued than your general Zelda fare. Which is not bad, and Breath of the Wild soundtrack has its own charm to it in being more atmospheric and just more subdued in how it sounds, but I still miss the old type of roaring Zelda tunes and thunderous triumphant songs and stuff that are just basically earworms. We don't have that as much in Breath of the Wild. There are some songs like that, but not as many as there used to be. And when I listened to this song while crossing the beach by Lurelin, it hit me that I miss this, and I think Breath of the Wild 2 needs to have more of a mix. The piano is Breath of the Wild's #1 instrument of choice, cutting into the sounds of nature at different points in overworld exploration, which is very fitting for the desolate world you explore in Breath of the Wild. But I think the sequel needs to change that. Instead of having short piano chords come and go as you explore the world, I want to see more traditional Zelda tracks that can pop in and out just as the piano tracks did, and base that on the surroundings you're exploring. Towns, cutscenes, and important areas can also kick it up a notch and create more classic Zelda tunes the likes of Outset Island and Skyloft. And a prime example of what I'm talking about when I say that the tunes in Breath of the Wild are not as catchy or as memorable as a classic Zelda fare is Rito Village. As much as I love the theme in Rito Village, I think I prefer Dragon Roost Island. Rito Village is a much more slow and emotional mix of the Dragon Roost theme, but I still think I prefer the original just for... I don't even know why. A big part of why the lack of music when exploring the overworld worked in Breath of the Wild is because of the setting. When you're exploring a desolate world like this, you're not going to hear a triumphant or just really anything kind of theme. You're just going to hear the sounds of nature as it takes back over this broken world. The thing is, though, Breath of the Wild 2 is not going to be that same kind of game, or at least it shouldn't be that same kind of game. Based on the little we have to go off of with the announcement trailer, this is going to be a game that is much more dark and foreboding, which makes me think maybe it could take a page out of Majora's Mask's handbook and create some more creepy, eerie, new pieces like The Final Day or Stone Tower Temple. Majora has one of the most underrated soundtracks in the entire Zelda series, and if Breath of the Wild 2 can bring back some of the eerie magic that was that soundtrack, I'd be happy. And another piece of this musical puzzle I really think we need to acknowledge is Koji Kondo, who basically was the Zelda series music for 25 years. Breath of the Wild was the first big Zelda project in years that Kondo was not involved in. The score was instead handed over to Manaka Katoka, Yasuki Iwata, and Hajime Wakai. These composers, having previously worked on titles such as Pikmin, Star Fox, and even Animal Crossing, brought a lot of new talent to the Breath of the Wild soundtrack. I can definitely see these three are very skilled and attempted to bring a whole new style of music to the Zelda series, and I feel like they succeeded in that, but I'm not sure if that's the right direction to continue going in the future. Breath of the Wild likes to reuse old Zelda tunes a lot, just remix them into more subtle tunes and just like little references in there. Little references, like when you're riding on a horse, you'll hear Zelda's Lullaby or like the main Zelda theme kick in. It really likes to reuse what's already been done. I feel like if we're going to have these new composers come in and show their stuff, they need to show their stuff, give us some new stuff. And I know they can do this because there is one song in this game that reminds me the most of how Zelda music used to be, and it doesn't really reuse a lot at all. It's Korok Forest. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe this song is stealing any past Zelda melody at all. I feel like it's more of a completely original new song, which is why I have faith that these three new composers can continue to carry the torch that Koji Kondo used to carry for this series. But they need to want to, and they need to see that maybe going so far in on this atmospheric approach is not quite what we need for the series going forward. Now, we can talk about how music needs to change in Breath of the Wild 2 all we want, but in the end, the Zelda series has taken a completely new direction with Breath of the Wild, and it's unknown exactly where the music is going to go after that, and where the whole series is going to go after that. Where do we go next? That's what determines everything. Just how much is Breath of the Wild 2 going to change from the original? How many of the ideas that were scrapped in that game will it attempt to bring back? Will it at all? Or will it just continue to do its completely new own thing? Whatever it ends up doing, I think the music will follow suit. I don't think the sequel can go in expecting to do the exact same thing as its predecessor. This is a much bigger topic than music, and it's one that's been worrying me for a while. If Breath of the Wild 2 relies too much on the original game, it might fall flat. And that's part of why I really believe the music in the sequel needs a change. This game can't afford again to rely on a desolate world as its backdrop. And when that changes, the tone of its music needs to change too. Maybe when I heard that song Exploring Lurelin Beach, I was just longing for the old days of Zelda. Or maybe I was onto something and this sequel really needs to focus more on music. Either way, there has to be some kind of change in Breath of the Wild 2. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you're excited to hear new music in Breath of the Wild 2. whenever the heck we get to hear it. If you liked the video, make sure to give it a like so YouTube can share it around, and if I could ask a quick favor of you, I'd love it if you could subscribe to the channel. We are trying to hit 10K by the end of the year. Not sure if it's going to happen, but I'd still love it if we could get to that goal. It'd be great. And also, here's the graph. A lot of you aren't subscribed, and it's pretty easy. Just you click the button, you get to see when new videos come out, and I get to be happy because you subscribed, and yay. You can also follow me on Twitter at XenogamerYT. You can join the community Discord server with the link in the description, and you can check us out on Twitch, stream every Friday. A lot of fun, so check us out over there as well. Thanks again, guys, for watching the video all the way through. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you soon with more new videos. Have a good one. Bye.